You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television, and yes, this is Inside Today, and I am being joined by Dr. Kings Oshifade Kayode. He is the team lead, founder, and convener of Holy Kings Impact Foundation. You are welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Dr. Kings. How have you been? How is everything in general?
Yeah, we thank God. We are moving up with life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know you've been making impact when it comes to women, children, you know, the society at large. You have been making impact with your foundation, right?
By God's grace, I think that's what you're living, the time is you're living. You understand? We live to live. Yeah.
Now, let's look at the question in proper. Now, how can early drug education help children make informed decisions about substance abuse when parents come together and educate their child about drugs and substance abuse?
I think the first thing, when we talk about these, we should take it into the depths, the roots. You know, many times when people talk about drug abuse, we only talk about the theory part. We don't talk about the reality. And I think that's what we should be doing here today. And the first and for all, I would like to let you all know that youth are the most important thing on earth. They should be taking space in all ramification. And it's important we should start educating our children, the youth at large, what the effects, what drug abuse is, and how, because people begin to malfunction when they are not aware of who they are. They don't know who, you know, anything is inevitable, you know. Destruction is inevitable when you don't know who you are. And I think that's what we should be doing here today. And it's important we should start taking responsibility as a parent, because the real job of drug abuse and drug education should be lies in the hand of the parents more, not even the government. Because these days, parents leave their child in the hands of the teacher, in the hands of the nanny. So who is giving the real value? You know, it's raising a child is beyond just I have the money. You know, we should, and that's why drug abuse is something that it's crazy in the world today, because the parents are not even there to be the main models and value to the life of the children.
Now, let me ask you something, Dr. Kings. You know, for many individuals in our society that we find ourselves today, we hear that sex education, let's educate our children on sex education, is very important, that the children should know their right from their left. They should understand the impact and what it brings to our society. Now, do you think we do not lay that same emphasis when it comes to educating the child on drugs and substance abuse?
I think this is what we should be doing at this critical stage, because drug abuse is something that is getting crazier day by day. And, you know, why do people go into drugs? Let's begin with that. I think that should be the first question we should answer. We should answer to ourselves. People take drugs because they want to dodge responsibility. They say, when I take drugs, I will high and I will forget.
Exactly.
I will be depressed. And not knowing that when you get high, the next day you still pick up with the reality. So people take drugs because they want to dodge responsibility, and anybody that dodges responsibility ends up as a liability to himself and the environment at large. So what should we be doing to eradicate that? I think this is when we should all know that everything on earth is permitted to work against you, but never work against yourself. Why do we even take drugs? Why do we get depressed? A lot of people will tell you, I'm depressed. People get depressed because they are trying to impress some people. You know, when you ask people questions, why did they say, my friend pushed me into it? Like, how you can do it, you can do it. You want to impress your friends, and you are killing yourself. And it's hard for you to get out of that state you are. So we should start understanding that there's one thing I call law of crapology. It's a law we should all understand. What does law of crapology does? Law of crapology speaks about our family and the pressure around us. You know, people, when you put a crab in a basket, it finds its way out. You just try and put like 5-10 crabs in a basket. When one is trying to come out, the others will pull them back. That's why the environment is like this. And I tell people, when I see you, I can determine who you will become. Why? Your circle determines what comes out of you.
The circle of friends.
Yes.
Now, Dr. Kings, let's look at it critically. I know you've dealt with and you've actually been involved in the lives of children when it comes to when they are kids, from teenagers to now the youth. Yeah. Now, don't you think at a certain age in the life of a child, there's something called, I want to explore. I want to know what it entails. I want to know how it is done. I want to know how it feels like. Now, how does the role of drug education play in preventing drug abuse and among children and teenagers when they get to that level of their age?
No, the thing is, I think that comes with from the beginning when a child is less busy. When people are less busy, they are bound to do anything. Anything comes to their mind because their mind is not filled up. But that's why when you see some particular children, they don't even have that time because their mind is filled up with a lot of things. That's why we should start engaging our children. Real education is beyond the four walls of education. This is when we should engage these children in a lot of things, not just when they come back from school, because they are free. That's why they think about drugs. So we should start getting them involved. They should start getting them engaged in many spaces. And I think, the problem about this is still that the youth and children, most of the youth, they are product of distraction. When I say they are product of distraction, what do I mean by that? What are they distracted of? What got you distracted? And the pressure of followership, who you follow, that's why I say who you follow determines what following you. There's some set of people, their followers is just they don't even have that time. That's why we indulge, and I will use this opportunity to say a word to the parents. Please, if you can't even raise a child, raising a child is beyond just having the money. Are you mentally ready to raise a child? Will you be there for that child? Can you talk to the child? That's the reason why we are raising a lot of rich fools. This is the time we should raise a child. We should give birth to children we can raise. And another thing is this social media. That's another problem we are facing. That's
created so much impact.
I'm telling you. Just imagine people choose their mothers in the wrong way.
But Mr. King, if you look at it, but looking at it critically, someone will tell you social media can actually make or break a child. A child can get whatever information they want on social media today. All you need to do is Google, and that is it. But the truth is, the Nigeria in which we find ourselves, everyone is actually in a hurry. Everyone wants to find money. And can you actually blame parents who do not have time to sit their children down and educate them to things that they feel they are even in denial of? Their child can never go into drugs. So would you actually blame this or blame the child in the system in which we have found ourselves?
The thing is this. I tell people everything that has advantage have its disadvantage.
Yes, it does.
Like me being here today, what I'm saying today is not just what I learned in school. It's part of the product of social media. I tell people money in the hand of a bad person will make the person more bad. Money in the hands of a good person will do more good with money. Just the way social media is. When you are on social media and you have the right information, you will be more important, you'll be more valuable to the society. But when you are on social media, just imagine the kind of models people get on social media. We set our priority wrong. Just imagine, and even the celebrities, so-called, they are one of the major problems. I stand to be corrected, but that's the reality. You see them, because they have a lot of followership. You see them online doing IG live, like 50,000 is following, and you are talking, you are smoking. It's crazy. I think they should sensitize all of these things.
And you know what, Dr. King, just to add to what you've just said, and then when you look at it, when you look at musical videos, when you look at some of these things by these celebs that you talk about, they actually portray the use of substance abuse. You see some of them with drinks, you see some of them with cigarettes, like you have said, giving that notion to a child that is watching, that looks up to this individual or this celeb as a role model that, okay, that is the way of life. Now, let's take it back a bit. Now, what impact does parental involvement in drug education have on a child's attitude towards drug use?
I think what we should be talking about, I remember when we were growing up, Like what we see today, we hardly see it then. Even for those that smoke, they will go to the bush, which means what they are doing is wrong.
It's wrong, exactly.
But these days, not only our celebrity do it, they will go on live, you see them, and the parents, that's where the parents comes in. Are we still teaching morals? Are we still teaching values? And I tell people, the real education is beyond the 4 walls of education. This is the time we should be teaching more of morals, value, letting them know that when you do this, this is what you become. When you do this, this is when, because most of these children, they are not even aware. Look at a life of a child, when you see some child, that's the reason why it still falls in the hand of the parent. Parents only give children their money these days. They don't give them their wisdom. That's why we have too much rich fools. And when you transfer your money to your child, you forgot to transfer the wisdom, what will become the child? The child used that money to do drugs, because he doesn't even know what it takes to work. He does not even understand how you grew. So that's why I tell people we should start building wealth creation. We have a lot of rich fools. Wealth creation, generational transfer. Let's transfer the real wealth. Because people don't even understand what the real wealth is. That's why we have a lot of child out there. What they do is drugs because they have enough money. The parent has given them money to do this. That's why the work is in the hands of the parent. It's still
but if you look at it, Dr. King, sometimes, when you hear drugs and substance education, when you educate the child when it comes to this particular issue, parents hardly think that far off. And you wonder and you say to yourself, looking at this now, because of the menace which it has caused in our society,